what is the difference between graphic design and illustration? What's up, fool? I'm Lauren, and welcome back to my channel. This is the central place for all things art, design, and surface pattern design related. So if you're interested in learning more about why graphic design is different from illustration, then keep on watching. So the type of design job you may end up want to doing differs a lot. Graphic design is kind of the broader known type of design, and everyone kind of thinks that me as a surface pattern designer or textile designer, that I'm a graphic designer that draws patterns. And I'm sure illustrators probably get these same type of questions from people who aren't really familiar with the design world. But graphic design is more focused on creating logos, creating marketing materials, doing branding, that kind of thing. They a lot of times service companies for the purpose of sort of marketing or advertising. So they work a lot of times in InDesign. They do a little bit of Illustrator and Photoshop as well, but their primary focus is going to be in InDesign, and they're going to be focused on, layout. They work a lot with fonts. So they're kind of the masters of fonts, which is like, that's hard for someone who's an illustrator or maybe even a surface pattern designer to kind of grasp onto, because we never have to deal with fonts, or sometimes maybe illustrators will if they're creating a poster or something like that. But for the most part, illustrators and surface pattern designers don't have to deal with fonts too much, whereas that is like the key thing when you're a graphic designer. Your fonts are everything, and there's a lot of jokes among graphic designers, not to use Helvetica or Comic Sans, and like, if someone in our family uses Comic Sans, like, can we kick them out of the family? Like, that kind of thing. So graphic designers are super serious about their fonts, as they should be, because that is probably the most important element to having successful graphic designs. Now, illustration, on the other hand, is going to involve people who are wanting to do a lot more drawing, where as a graphic designer, you don't necessarily have to know how to draw. It can help, like if you wanted to throw something in that had like maybe like a hand-drawn element or something like that, but most graphic designers will purchase that kind of artwork and kind of like the little bits that they need from places like Creative Market or, Shutterstock, or some of these like stock online sites, because they don't have time to necessarily draw everything out. They just need to be able to kind of piece everything together and create the layout and create the overall beautiful composition, color palette, all of those things. But the illustrator is probably going to be the one who is perhaps uploading their designs to these stock sites, for example, or maybe they're working with a client. They could be working on more editorial illustrations, things like that. So illustrators are doing a lot more drawing. Their work kind of comes from an original place because they are the initial designer. They're not just like piecing together and putting together a layout. So both are important, but that's kind of a little bit of the difference. Illustrators, a lot of times, now that we have iPad Pro, they're going to be working on iPad Pro a lot. In the past, maybe they've worked on a Cintiq, which I have right here, which is like basically just a screen that you can draw on with your stylus, and I'll pull that out real quick so you can see. So illustrators a lot of times will also like draw on something like a Cintiq. They can also draw on their iPad Pro directly on it in an app like Procreate, which is super, super awesome and game-changing really for illustrators. Before that, we would have had to use something like a Wacom tablet, where you still have the stylus, but you're like looking on the computer to like see where you're drawing. So your hand and your eye weren't necessarily as connected. But yes, illustrators are going to be creating things like magazine spreads. They're going to be doing a lot of book cover illustrations. That's a big one for like children's wear and things like that. And I do think that there is also a lot of crossover between illustration and surface pattern design. A lot of designers kind of dabble in both. So I hope that was really helpful for you guys. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and make sure to hit that bell and subscribe to get notified every time I come out with a new video. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.